You are here because the outside world rejects you.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Come on, let's get nuts. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
I made a buddy. Come on, Peter Tingle. Here we go.
What's up? What's up? What up?
What up, nerds?
What's up, my nerd kingdom? Nerddom? I'm gonna do that. What's up, my nerdum?
That's Cameo. I'm Brad Reed. So if you're talking to the nerd kingdom,
The nerdum.
does that make? I think we talked about this before, but does that make you the king?
I don't want to give myself that title. We can make it a democracy. We can vote if someone so chooses to tally up the votes.
Well, what if I just say I want to be the king then? Like, if you're not going to claim it, that means I can take it, right?
Sure. I mean, if you want it, that's fine.
All right. Well,
I don't want the responsibility, so that's cool.
would you rather be the vice king? You know, like, I think I like would rather be vice president of a company, or, you know, because then the president just tells you what to do, and then you just kind of make sure other people do it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I can be assistant. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Let's just both be the assistant.
Okay, cool.
Right on.
We'll delegate, responsibilities. If
Yes.
something I don't want to do, I'll give it to you. If something you don't want to do, I'll do. We go.
Nothing will ever get
Do it like
done.
that.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing will.
We don't ever want to do anything.
We are the nerds to men. You are our nerd serfs. Like,
Yeah.
and we are here to do another Nerds to Men on films this week. This week we are going to talk about The Flash. If you can't tell by my action figures I have set out.
And my action figure that's set out, and my Flash, the CW Flash T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, from the movie, which spoilers from here on out,
Yeah. Everybody dies
The Flash spoilers.
quite a few times.
You got Michael Keaton's Batman, but I mean that's pretty known, like right off the bat. That was in the trailer. So I got Michael Keaton's Batman over here, The Flash, Wonder Woman, Ben Affleck's Batman, and then this is the Batman from Arkham, who wasn't in the movie, but maybe he was. I didn't see him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Across the Spider-Verse though, where it was like 250 versions.
Batmans and Supermans.
Before we break down the movie, Cameo, we got to talk, like, you know how like there's trailers before a movie? I want to talk about the trailers I saw, for one.
Okay.
And I want to also talk about my experience at the drive-in where I saw The Flash the first time I saw it. Seen it twice. So I'll start with the drive-in, actually. So I went to Winchester Drive-In here in Oklahoma City. It's off of Western. Been around forever. I've been going. I mean, I'm pretty sure I went there as a small child in the 80s. I remember seeing movies at the drive-ins, and I remember going down to the Winchester. And it's got a cool name too, right? Winchester Drive-In.
Right.
Regal. But so I just, like I said, I wanted to go to the drive-in because the first time I saw the Michael Keaton Batman back in, was that 89, I guess? That was at the drive-in. It wasn't at the Winchester, I remember. It was at a different one, but it was at the drive-in theater. And man, like I was just so excited to go see it, and I had a great time. I took my nephews. Like, you could pay like a concession fee if you don't want to like eat their concessions and bring in. So like we brought in like pizza and like a bunch of drinks and bunch of non-alcoholic drinks. But well, I guess you can have alcoholic drinks there. You can bring your own if you wanted to do that. but you had to keep it in the car. You could go to their website. They got like all their rules and stuff, but it was pretty, but like I say, it was really good. But like my only problem was I couldn't quite focus on the movie like I wanted to. And like the one thing I think about The Flash that was great about it was it's like this big summer movie. So the drive-in's like a cool experience, right? But if you really wanted to like pay attention, I had to go see it again the other day at a different theater. So I could, cause like one car next to me kept like their motor going for like a long time during the movie. And then another car right next to me had like, you know, they do the thing through the radio now. So it's on 100.9 and you know, it's on a short signal or whatever. So it only goes so far. But, I wondered if some people just like who live close to there just listen to the movie sometimes on the radio.
Right.
Some movies would be cool to probably do that, and other movies you'd be like, I still don't know what's going on.
I feel like the Batman movie. I feel like that would be like a good radio, not watching, but a radio
maybe so
broadcast of it. Yeah. Because, you know, I feel like that's how Batman was when he was first, you know, created. It was like one of those old detective style stories. So yeah, I feel like that would have been perfect.
You're probably right. I would think, because like if you're at work, you know, like if you work at Taco Bell, like right over there, you're probably like, man, there ain't much to do. Can't watch TV.
Let me listen to it.
Yeah. And the thing about the drive-in is they usually have like the bigger blockbuster movies because they can't like afford to show them all week and do, you know what I mean? So they have to take the biggest ones. But yeah, and then so like there was this car next to me that had his radio going and it had a great sound system. It sounded crystal clear, but it was, for some reason, his radio signal there was a delay. Probably not from the signal. I think he had like some aftermarket speakers and stuff. There was some kind of delay. And man, it was messing me up. Like I was sitting there during the movie like, I'm a grumpy old man. Like, cause back in the day I loved the drive-in and I still do. I'm going to go back, you know, for other movies and stuff. It was so much fun. The last drive-in movie I saw Cameo before this was the Simpsons movie. If that tells you how long that had been.
I want to say the last movie I saw at the drive-in was, I think they did like a double feature of Black Panther and Endgame.
Yeah.
No, Infinity War. Sorry, Infinity War.
I think what Winchester should do, because I've sat here and suggested how you could listen to their movies for free, which is not, at least go give them a couple dollars or something, I guess. But what they need to do is they need to do it like where you just part of like when you get your ticket, part of the price of it, they give you like a QR code or something that takes you to their website with the audio that you can only get to, like, you know, it's secure or whatever. And then that way you scan the QR code and it goes to your Bluetooth devices. Because most of your cars have Bluetooth in them, right?
Yeah, or an auxiliary port. Yeah, so.
And well, an auxiliary port might not, I mean, that they'd have to port like every pole, but that's how they should do it. So if you're listening, Winchester, and you're like, well, thanks for telling everybody how to listen to movies for free. I just gave you, I don't like to poke holes in things without filling them up, you know?
There you go.
They're probably like, we looked into that. You don't know what you're talking about, sir. Anyway, but I had a great time.
What happened to the old time where you had to take the speaker off the pole and like hang it on your window? What happened to that?
They probably just, after a long time of maintenance and all the stuff, were like, you know.
Well, I mean,
because back in the day, not every car had like a radio.
Right. So it's just, you know, I just don't see why.
Because nobody's going to use it anymore. Mostly, they're just going to be like, I'm going to run my.
Well, see, Well, that's the thing. You know, what if your car's on their last leg and
You shouldn't be driving it to the drive-in.
well, I mean, if that's your only car and you're like, hey, you know, driving is less expensive than going to, you know, these other theaters. Like, you know, my battery dies because I have my car on.
Well, you better park by. I think they have some speakers, or you just park by a car that you can hear their speakers.
But sometimes they don't have it turned up all the way.
I'm just saying, if your car's that bad off, and I feel bad for you, I'm not trying to shame people whose cars are not in as great a condition. You know, I'm blessed, and you are blessed, but I'm just saying, if you can't go and enjoy it without leaving your car running the whole time, don't go.
I guess.
Just sit there and smell your fumes and
right. Now I got carbon monoxide poisoning.
exactly. But that didn't happen. Like I say, it's a good time, but I had to go back and watch it again because I was like, man, there's so much to take in here, you know?
Right.
And there was, frankly, upon the second viewing, I was like, oh man, I completely forgot about that. So I saw it twice and I enjoyed it both times. The trailers, the new Kraven the Hunter trailer, Cameo. That movie looks really good. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised and pleased with the trailer. You know, the way that now don't get me wrong, I love the Venom movies. I wouldn't say I love them, but I really enjoyed the Venom movies.
Yeah.
Morbius,
Not so much.
not so much. And I don't know if it was Jared Leto or the direction that they were trying to go with Morbius. I don't really know. I just know that I didn't like it at all. And I don't know if it was because of a PG-13 rating, and maybe Sony is looking at that now to where, you know, these more aggressive type villains, because I don't think I could see a Dr. Octopus rated R movie or a Mysterio rated R movie. Now, could you get like a thriller with Mysterio? Of course. But like with Kraven, who hunts animals and, you know, also humans, it's like that has to be an R film. Like Venom should have been R because, you know, he's, you know, biting people's heads off and eating them. Morbius, yes. You know, if you've seen any vampire movie, there you go. So I just think that hopefully Sony is putting more thought into what should be rated R, how they should go about it. But yeah, dude, I think it's going to look good. I don't know much about Kraven the Hunter other than what I've seen on, you know, the animated series back in the 90s. So I don't know exactly how he gets his powers other than, you know, him doing some like testing like Doc Connors did with the lizard, you know, lizard DNA. So, you know, I don't know. As you saw in the trailer, a blood of the lion drops into the younger version of Kraven, and then he grows up to be this like half lion, half man type deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited for the movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson is jacked out of his mind in this. So yeah, I can't wait to see the movie. It looks good.
Yeah.
And it's coming out in October, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. And another thing too, I don't know if we talked about this, but the Spider-Man 2 video game, which also one of the villains is Kraven the Hunter, is also releasing in October. So October 20th, the video game comes out. I don't know if they had like a for sure date in October for Kraven, but it does come out in October.
I've been playing the Miles Morales game. I know it took me a while to start it.
Forever.
But man, that game is so freaking good. I wish I'd have been playing it before I saw this movie so we could have talked about it more on the last Nerdz on Films, but we'll get back. We'll talk about Miles Morales here in a little while on a different show. But Another trailer I saw, Cameo, and I gotta say, I as much like Craven, I was really excited about it because it feels like a Logan type movie.
Yeah.
Then I saw Blue Beetle, and I thought it looks like Shazam.
It's going to be fun. It's going to have to be fun.
I bet it is. I bet it's fine. I bet it's an okay movie. But it looks like Shazam. It just looks like any other okay comic book movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The actor in it, I mean, he looks awesome. I like him in the other show, the Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Solo Menduena. Hopefully I'm saying that name right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna call him Miguel because that's his name in Cobra Kai.
I think he's gonna do a good job.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just didn't think it didn't really grab me, Cameo. It was like something I have to see.
I have to see it. I will say I read the comic books of Blue Beetle, and he's one of my favorite DC characters.
And I'm not saying I don't like. It just doesn't look special to me. Like,
yeah, no, I feel you.
But, and then I think that's pretty much it. That brings us to the Flash.
You weren't excited about Mission Impossible?
No.
Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I got there late on the second one and didn't see. All I saw was couple of those and like Barbie. Oh, I do want to see the Meg 2.
I saw that trailer too. I was like, yes.
It does look good. It looks like looks like a movie I could go see at the drive-in. It wouldn't matter if people's cars are going.
No. It's just for the action. Like, who cares what they're saying? Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
3 huge sharks. Like we got, the story with, Jaws.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 25, however many Jaws movies there are. But yes, this is legit. I definitely got to see that.
Yeah, I did see that one. And I actually had never seen the Meg, so I went and watched it.
Oh, it's ridiculous too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. If you like Shark Week, you're going to love the Meg.
Yeah, my daughter loves Shark Week.
Me too.
Loves it.
Yeah, it's fun. Not for the people, but
no.
That's why I stay.
But for the sharks,
I stay up on the sand.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
So let's get into the Flash cameo. Spoilers for this movie. Yeah, if you hear a spoiler that you don't want to hear, just run back in time.
Right,
you'll be all right. This movie was directed by. We have 2 different pronunciations. I looked it up. I feel like it's Andy Muschietti.
And I think it's Andy Muschietti.
Yeah. Which I don't think is correct because to me, it sounds like an Italian name, but yeah, he's actually Argentinian and it's a Spanish name. According to Wikipedia. You never know about Wikipedia though.
Yeah. You can never trust Wikipedia. So if you're trying to do a paper for school, don't do it.
But he was the director behind.
Use it. Make sure you fact check it.
Yeah. He was the director behind It, chapters 1 and 2, which you saw that at the theater with me. Crazily enough. Yes. Yeah. I don't even know how I talked you into that.
I don't know either.
I think it was because you knew that he was going to do The Flash one day, and so you were doing your homework.
There you go.
Yeah. He did a movie called Mama.
What I did is I ran to the future.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need to know these things about Andy Muschietti.
Yes. Here's the thing. It's probably like in one multiverse, it's Andy Muschietti, and another one, it's Andy Muschietti.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to make the obvious joke of, in another one, it's Andy Muschietti. But anyway, just laugh. You can have a good time, Cameo. It's all right. That's the thing about the movie The Flash, though, that like I really, really believe is, yes, I felt like there was a lot of emotion in this story. Like it was very sad, hopeful at times. Like there was just a lot of range, but like, you know, the whole thing with Barry and his mom, and really the whole thing with Barry and himself.
Yeah.
It was, you know, it was painful to watch. And I'm not saying like I hated that watching it. I'm just saying like Ezra Miller, as much as people don't like the person of who Ezra Miller is, Ezra Miller, the actor, pretty good actor, I feel like.
You know, I can't knock that. And, you know, I was asked this on 98.9 Kiss FM when I was doing a small review of The Flash. And Heather was like, I don't think I can separate the actor from their wrongdoings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, that's totally fine. And I said, I get that. Like, I can't listen to R. Kelly anymore. And it's like some of the songs that, you know, you grew up to listening to, like R. Kelly. Those were some of the best songs growing up.
Yeah.
And then now, you know, there was a little inkling in my mind that, yeah, I know that he was guilty for doing what he did. And if you don't know what he did, this ain't the podcast to talk about it on, especially for this show. But it's, you know, it kind of sucks, but it's like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's just, I know what you did and you're guilty of it. And then there's more stuff that came out later that's on Netflix that you can go watch, Surviving R. Kelly. And it's just like, this is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not saying what Ezra Miller did was less impactful or less hurtful or whatever. But because my wife, she didn't want to see The Flash because of what was going on with him. And, you know, I totally agree with that. You know, I've saved some money, so that's cool. So, you know, I wasn't arguing too much, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's like for this movie, I had to see The Flash. I wanted to, like, I would say The Flash is like my number 2 favorite superhero in the DC universe.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of the same way.
Like I had to go see it. I tried to, you know, separate. And it's just like, well, you know, we're not going to see him anymore from what I'm assuming. There's nothing really been said that he's out as the Flash, but I think that we won't be seeing him. And I had to see the Flash. I had to see it. So that was my reasoning and my explanation on why I wanted to see is because, you know, Flash is my number 2 favorite superhero in the DC universe. So.
Right. I only bring this up for I'm trying to think of the word, but just as a good journalist here, Ezra Miller does prefer the they them. For those of you who respect that sort of thing, and for those of you who don't, I mean, you don't. That's your freedom. So
yeah,
I just wanted to point that out.
Did I call Ezra Miller him?
Yeah, and it's hard not to do because he plays. See, I did it too. Ezra plays characters where he's definitely a man. Like the Flash, Barry Allen is a man. Like he goes by he, him, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really want to get into all that anyway, but I did want to point out because it's a pretty big deal with what is going on with Ezra Miller, right? I feel like Ezra Miller, again, incredible actor. I really do think Ezra is a very good actor, but
yeah,
I don't really like.
That's what Heather,
I don't really like
Heather
the person at all. Like what I read, because I did a little more deep dive. Because before, I'd heard a few things, probably like you did, probably like everybody did. I heard a few things. Then I heard that they weren't really like what people said. And so I was researching it more because, yeah, some of it might have been like an ex-boyfriend that was mad or this or that, somebody that was. But there's definitely other things that like that stuff happened. Some of this stuff definitely did happen. So it is odd that Ezra really hasn't been canceled like a lot of people have been who have done stuff like this, or even to a lesser extent that have been canceled. So it's odd to me that Ezra didn't, but I have a feeling that that's more to do about a big studio with a lot of money riding on this movie. And again, even though at the end of the day, I would love to see another Flash movie, they had to recast, which I'd be fine with that. Just recast, because we're going to talk about this movie more than we are just going to talk about Ezra Miller. And after seeing this movie, I definitely want a second Flash movie.
Yeah.
So
most definitely.
Let's talk about the CGI a little bit, because that's a big knock that everybody's knocked on this movie.
And I got a reason for that too. So
right. Well, a lot of people have said that, like, especially when you get down into later on in the movie, and we're talking about, well, there's the first sequence too where he's rescuing these babies. And I almost think that they did that because they were like, look at Ezra Miller. He's literally rescuing babies. Trying to clean up his image real quick in this movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, I thought that was humorous, and I thought that the CGI was okay. It might not have been the best CGI you've ever seen. But later on, when we start seeing some of the cameos in the movie from the multiverses, a lot of people say they looked like Polar Express, and I was like, they do kind of look like that to me. Other people said no, they don't, but I was like, no, they really did. And they said that the director said that it's because you're in the Flash's, chrono bubble or whatever they called it, chronodome, and chrono ball, or what, I can't remember what they called it actually. But when everything would look different according to the Flash while he's in the Speed Force. So
yeah, the quote that Andy said is the perspective of the Flash. So everything is distorted in terms of lights and textures. We enter this water world, which is basically being in, Barry's point of view. It was part of the design. So if it looks a little weird to you, that was intended. So I totally get why they did it. Nobody moves faster than the sound of light, or sound light. What? Not sound of light. The speed of light. There we go. Sound of light. Wow. So, we don't know exactly what that looks like to somebody that could. And that's the great thing about movies and, fantasy. You can make anything look like anything, and that's just what we have to take it as. Just like time travel. Nobody has actually time traveled. And the way that Michael Keaton's Batman explained time travel is, that's kind of cool. It's we'll get into that a little bit later. But, nobody knows how time travel works. Nobody knows what things look like at the speed of light. So it's kind of cool.
Well, Michael Keaton, he does explain the multiverse a little bit to the Flashes and to everybody else, watching. But I thought it was a pretty good explanation, because it did kind of cover up any plot holes. Like, okay, we can understand why you might be Michael Keaton's Batman in the, in your world, but why are you not the same age as Ben Affleck's Batman in my world? And Michael Keaton's Batman tells him, because what you did basically sends a ripple backwards.
Yeah, it changes the past, but also changes the future.
Yeah. If you think about how the universe is expanding, you might think of it like maybe the Flash caused it to expand and come back. and like changes stuff as it did. So I thought that was interesting because in the so far in the Marvel universes, that hasn't been something like that's been explained. You know what I mean? Like, but they are different ages and different looks and different whatever.
Yeah. So nothing. The only thing that changes was that it branched off into a new timeline. Not that it changed who, let's say Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark was actually, we'll say, what's his name? Chris Evans. Chris Evans didn't end up being Iron Man. So everybody still played their roles as Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, and all that. And it's the same person playing those characters, unlike the way that the Flash explained it. That could have been, Ben Affleck at the age of 60.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, and they had to do it more so here because the Flash gets off in another universe, basically, and he meets his mother. He saves his mother from dying. But then finds out that the universe he stepped into where he saved her, he's 10 years younger. So he kind of realized that all these timelines aren't running congruently. So he's 10 years younger. Batman's 20 years older. And I thought that was pretty interesting, the way that it was explained in this one as a big bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah, I really like this explanation more than the Marvel's explanation of time travel.
Right. Now, did you say, before we go into kind of the plot stuff here, did you say whether or not the CGI really bothered you throughout this movie?
No, it didn't. Because I was seeing a lot of things on social media, and I don't know if, people growing up and they were like, Mom, Dad, can I get McDonald's? And your parents would be like, well, we got McDonald's at home. And then what's really there is 2 pieces of bread and, some nasty looking beef patty, frozen beef patty. And that's what they did with the CGI version. Like, Mom, can I go get some CGI? And they're like, oh, we got CGI back at home. And it's like the weird looking CGI that you seen in the Flash. And I was like, man, why y'all got to do it like that?
Yeah,
but the CGI of the Flash did not, ruin my viewing of the movie.
No. And again, I heard somebody else say this. It was still a million times better than the CGI and the CW. So, it's just kind of what people, I feel like if you went into this movie upset about the Snyderverse or upset about Ezra Miller's behavior and the things he's done to other people, yeah, you're not going to have probably as good a time as you going into it like me, who's like, dude, I get to see Ben Affleck as Batman another time, which I thought that opening sequence with him was dope. I loved it. And it just made me continue to be like, please
come back.
Please. Yeah. I have to see a whole ass Batman movie with Ben Affleck. And I want him to direct it too, because I think he's an amazing director, but I didn't love Air as much as I've loved some of his other movies. I do have to say,
I still haven't seen that one yet.
We haven't talked about it. So, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't as compelling as I thought. It's an interesting story, but maybe not as compelling as I would think. Ben Affleck's also in another movie with Robert Rodriguez right now that I really want to see, but it also went like straight to streaming, or not streaming, but you can buy it or rent it on Amazon. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't bode well. And I read some reviews that said it was kind of boring. And I'm like, no. But I really love Ben Affleck. I don't know why. Like recently I got into a bunch of his movies he wrote and directed, like The Town and Gone Baby Gone, and he's a talented guy. So
he really is.
I would love, and I think he's a great Batman. And he himself said that this is the first time he felt like he really got the character and portrayed the character like fully or to his expectation or however he meant, but whatever. Like this was the first time he really got it. And I was like, man, that just makes me want to see it. And James Gunn, if you're listening, which you're not,
please let it happen. I know. But please let it happen. But maybe Kevin Smith is listening since he is a friend of the show / listener of the show.
Yes.
Maybe he might talk to James Gunn
or Ben Affleck. He's more likely to talk to Ben Affleck.
More likely.
I was wondering about that. Should we push for a Kevin Smith directed Batman?
Oh, yes. I don't know if you've read the Kevin Smith Daredevil series.
He wrote a Batman series volumes. Too.
Yeah, so I haven't read that one, but the Daredevil one, I think I'm on the third book. I haven't finished. I don't think I've started the third book yet, but I mean, chef's kiss. And I feel like Daredevil and Batman are, somewhat the same ish. So I think that would be perfect. That'd be perfect. And every time he's, directed, I don't know if he wrote some of the episodes, but I know that he directed some of the episodes on the CW for like Supergirl and The Flash, and they were always on point. So
I'm ashamed to admit that I haven't read his Batman. I actually owned it at one time, but I never got around to reading it. And then I think it was one that we gave away on the nerd bingo that we did for the autism charity.
Mm-hmm. We need to bring that back. We need to do that again.
I know. I have a whole bunch of stuff we can give away too now. I kind of depleted my resources. That's why I was like, I don't know about putting on another one because I don't have as many comic books anymore. But now I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we did our 3-year boot camp at New World Comics.
Yep.
I collected a bunch then. But yeah, so I would like to. We could probably pull that off actually.
Yeah, we need to work on something like that. But
yeah,
I will say too, the one thing that I didn't like was the Flash suit.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like it at all.
I wasn't a big fan either,
and my son didn't like it either. We did, I really like this suit quite a bit from the Justice League movies.
This one isn't. It's just a comic book Flash figure. It's not.
Yeah, I think that's from the Injustice video game Flash, right?
Yeah. But like he had like a weird helmet on the back this time. Like he had like it
was like Ant-Man almost. It would look like that. But I wish they would have had like a more realistic suit like that one, or like the CW.
CW Flash. Always has dope suits.
I like that last suit that Grant Gustin wore in the series.
Yeah, they did good on their suits.
That was perfect.
I would say, Cameo, one of the things I was about to say, though, was even though I didn't read the Kevin Smith Batman comic, if he directed a Batman movie, I've heard that he made Batman pee his pants on like his first night out fighting crime. So would Ben Affleck pee his pants for this role? I don't think he would.
I think he would for Kevin Smith.
Who directed the first Daredevil movie? Do we remember?
I don't know. I'll look that up.
It wasn't very good, but you know who was in it?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, and since Kevin Smith wrote Daredevil and Batman, I guess it would, and directed Ben Affleck before. I don't know though. Like I think Kevin Smith could do anything. He's a talented and gifted man for sure, but
Mark Steven Johnson directed Daredevil.
But I almost still want to see Ben Affleck direct it too. Just because I like his directing too.
Man, I'm just so mad. He got out of it.
Yeah.
When everything was written, and it's just, I hate the fact that happened. But hey, we got the Batman, and that was really good. So
yeah, but again, we can keep the Batman going, and we can still have.
Well, because that's going to be part of DC Elseworld. So, I don't see why we can't And maybe the money wasn't right or isn't right for Ben Affleck to come back. Maybe, he's getting too old to where he doesn't want to work out all the time. I don't know what the issue is, and I'm not going to pretend to know. But I feel like for me, I would, if I'm hearing fans like, hey, I want to come, we want Cameron to play whoever, then I would be like, hey, whatever you want to pay me, I love this character. Let's do it. Well, I want to, because I'm not trying to go into Marvel, but Tom Holland said he'll play Spider-Man as long as possible, as long as the story's right and this and this and this. He's like, I am totally down to do another Spider-Man all the time. Right. And I feel like that's how I would approach it as well. I don't know if the Batman scripts aren't as good for Ben Affleck or if they're not letting him have that creative freedom to direct one. I don't know, but
I think that's it.
I would definitely try to come back if I was Ben Affleck.
Because, here we have Andy Muschietti, who's, I think, done a wonderful job with this Flash movie. He's been named as the director for Batman Brave and Bold, which is that coming out in 2025?
I think so, yeah.
So, which we'll talk about something later that I wonder if it's going to tie into, but I could see that the tone and everything I think I could just see Ben Affleck saying, I can do it better. I can direct this. You know what I mean? Because that's where he is in his career. And so he might not want to do it with somebody else in the way that they want to do it. And that's okay. I respect Ben Affleck for that. But I never thought after Batman Returns, and then we got Val Kilmer, and then we got George Clooney, and then of course then they redid everything with Christian Bale. I never thought we would get Michael Keaton as Batman again. So yeah, there's a chance for Ben Affleck to show back up, and I really hope he does, because if you had to put my toes to the fire, I would say Ben Affleck is the best Batman on film. And he didn't even get his whole Batman movie, which might be kind of why he's the best Batman on film. Because he just gets to be great at Batman for a little, these little chunks. But I mean, the Justice League movie, he was pretty featured, and also Batman versus Superman. But it wasn't just a Batman movie where we got to see the Joker and all the, all that kind of stuff. So I really do wish that somehow the Snyderverse could continue as its own thing and everything else, the Batman. But they don't have, they don't have all the millions of dollars to spend on these things. Especially and that it hurt the Flash, like we talked about, people's preconceived notions about the movie anyway. I felt like I read that it's underperformed like all the movies. Black Adam, Shazam. Which if it's underperformed under Shazam, oof, that ain't good. But the problem is it's a movie where it's the end of the Snyderverse. This is it. So people are kind of like, oh, well, if that's the end of it, I don't really care to see it. But you should go see it, because like I said, the story, while there are different things that I kind of thought could be better, like General Zod being the main villain, Michael Shannon even was saying how he wasn't as fulfilled with this movie as the Man of Steel movie. And I was like, well, of course not. General Zod in this movie probably could have just been all CGI'd, and Michael Shannon probably wouldn't have had to show up much at all. But, there was not this. This isn't that type of movie. It's not Man of Steel. It's not a Snyder. It is the characters and the people that Snyder cast. But it's not a Snyder movie, and people need to get off of that because it's its own thing right now. Right.
And the issue with I think another issue with this movie is that there wasn't that much promotion for the movie. We knew that it was coming out, but Ezra Miller wasn't doing, the main character was not doing promotional stuff. You had Superwoman, Sasha Callie. I'm not sure how you say her last name. I know she's Hispanic, but that, and then I don't remember seeing Michael Keaton doing any press release for this movie. So
no, you're right.
So it's like there wasn't much to to be excited for.
Right.
Hey, we got a couple trailers, the release date, and we're here.
Is this a dad bod movie? Is this a movie that's catered to like guys like me who are going because it is Michael Keaton again?
Oh, most definitely.
Like you got Dad Rock and Dad Bod. Is this a dad movie? Maybe that's why they put it out right before Father's Day.
That's probably it.
Because they're like, all the kids will take their fathers to see it.
Yeah. So he did save his father too.
Yeah, the father lives. So great movie. Loved it. Mom dies. Dad lives. Collects the insurance.
Right.
Goes on a lot of vacations.
Mm-hmm.
No. But again, with this movie, I thought like the story was a really good story from beginning to end. I really enjoyed just I guess, like I say, the Flash's journey and his struggle kind of with everything going on, but with himself. And then, but the thing is again, this movie was halfway a Batman movie, right? Like, and that's why I enjoyed it so much, because there weren't like multiple Flashes and his typical enemies or anything like that either. There was 2 Flashes. And so I really would have loved to have seen more like Reverse Flash or more of like Flashpoint-esque type thing here, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the movie itself was like, man, look at these Supermen and these Batmen. There was there was like a couple of nods to a couple of Flashes, but spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the cameos in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the biggest one for me, the biggest cameo for me was Nick Cage.
That was.
And Cameo, I hate the freaking internet. And I wanted to say the real word, but I didn't. Because like I basically knew every cameo before I even saw the movie. And a lot of people were crying over it. Like they were mad about certain cameos because it was people that had passed, like Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird that they used them? Like, I'll tell you why I didn't in a way, if you would like to hear that part first, or tell me though. I want to know what you think.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Well, I just wanted to know, like, do you find that creepy or anything wrong with it?
No, I don't think so. And I think also too, it's like a nod to the originals.
Their place in history.
Right. And I don't think you could have a movie, like a multiverse movie like this and not show nods to the ones that got us into the comics. Because I know the original Superman that played him like in the 50s or something like that was also featured in there. But I didn't grow up with that one. I grew up with Christopher Reeves. I didn't grow up with, I grew up with Michael Keaton, but I also watched the Adam West.
Yeah, which I did
Batman.
see Adam West on the second viewing.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see him the first time?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So like he was in that, and it's beautiful to see. And I'm pretty sure that the family of the West and the Reeves, if they're watching the movie, it's just like, oh, I get to see my dad or my grandfather, my uncle, I get to see them again. Maybe not in a full featured length film, but it's nice that they paid respects to some of the greats that played these characters. So that's why I don't think it's weird, but that's just me.
Here's what I think about it. Like the way they did it, I thought was respectful, because I think there's a way to do it where it's not respectful. Like we saw Nicolas Cage fighting off these robot type things or whatever in whatever world he was in. And that was so dope, man. I was like, why didn't we get that? And you know what else? Speaking of the promotion, for something that featured two movies by Tim Burton, I haven't heard him say anything about, like, did he think it was cool that they brought back Michael Keaton? Did they think it was cool that, because he was the guy who was going to develop that, direct that Nick Cage Superman movie.
Okay.
I wonder, I don't know, maybe I should just search it out some more, but I haven't heard anything about Tim Burton, what he thought about any of it.
I want to say the only person that I heard say anything was Stephen King.
King.
Yeah, Stephen King. I can't remember what he said, but he gave The Flash a high praise. But also, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that Andy Muschietti directed it. So I didn't, because I don't follow the directors unless I know them from, like James Gunn or the Russos. I think those are like the big names that I know, and also the Wachowski sisters. So that, I don't really follow the directors as much. So I didn't put two and two together, but obviously Andy and Stephen King have some type of relation to where he got to see part of the film or the majority of it. And he gave it high praises. He loved how he explained the multiverse. And we all know that Stephen King kind of has his own little multiverse in his movies. And I say that we all know. I mean, I kind of knew that from what you told me, because I'm not a huge Stephen King fan. I'll watch some of his stuff, but you know more about him than I do. And so, I kind of picked that up from you. But yeah, that's the only director that I would say that has some clout to say anything about a film. Yeah. And that's the only person that I've heard say anything, or I should say read, that said anything.
Right. Stephen King, man, I'm trying to remember. So he wrote, he still writes, he puts out books all the time, but he directed a movie when he was younger that people did not love. I just can't remember what movie it was. But he actually did direct a movie, so he kind of knows something about it. You know what I mean? Enough. But of course, he's written so many movies or books that have been turned, and short stories that have been turned into movies. I'm sure he's been on set so many times. Of course, he's appeared in a lot of those movies too. He'll have an appearance. But yeah, like you were saying, his books are all interconnected somehow.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of look for it. But
right.
Like I said, I thought it was a great movie. I really did. The second time I watched it, and it never really made me bored, or sometimes on the second viewing, I'll be like, okay, I just got to get through this part, and then this part will be cool or whatever. I don't think that happened. I feel like this is a really good action movie.
It really was. I was intrigued from the very beginning because, it starts off, if you don't know the Flash, Barry's always, running late, even though he's the fastest man alive.
Yeah. That's typical Barry.
Right.
I love it. I love that. That's one of my the funniest things about the Flash that I like. Cause like you said, I love Batman. Of course. I love Batman. And then I kind of love the Joker second. Like, you know what I mean? Like Batman, Joker. But then thirdly, and the second superhero would be the Flash. Cause I was never a big Superman guy. I just never.
I wasn't either.
But I always thought that that's so funny though that he's the fastest man in the world, but he's late to everything.
Right. So there was a few things where they had to explain stuff, and that didn't really take much time, didn't take too much away. I really liked the scene where they meet I'm gonna say Thomas Wayne, Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah.
And where he, I love that little fight scene. That was hilarious because I'll say the original Barry Allen was just getting his butt kicked while the new Barry Allen is just like, just like dodging so easily. But
I was glad. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say there were some explanations and things like that.
Yeah.
But it all went by in a flash.
I did appreciate to your point that there wasn't like a flash montage where he's teaching the younger Barry, and the way they got around that was super funny too. Like he'd be in the middle of explaining something to him and he'd be like, boom, I just did it. Yeah.
Oh, and I want to say this because I'm rewatching the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
That's how he was in the first few episodes. Green Lantern, John Stewart's Green Lantern, was trying to explain like what the plan was, and he was like, "Okay, got it."
Yeah,
and just like before Green Lantern could finish, he just went off. So I don't know if that was like a nod to the cartoon or what, because I'm not a huge Flash comic book reader. I did watch the show or what he was in, and I the Flash on the CW is like my all-time favorite series. I know it was kind of slow in some seasons, but overall, it's my favorite. But yeah, I gotta say this, and I'm gonna let you finish the part where the original Barry Allen loses his powers.
Yeah,
and he's like running in circles. He's like,
yes. I love that because that was one of the things I always hated was like, why does he run like that? Like, I get it, he's in the Speed Force, and so he looks slower, but it's such an exaggerated run that like I never appreciated it like in any of the movies. I always thought it looked weird. And so he's like doing it, but he's doing it in slow motion. Like it was so funny. Yeah. And like, again, that's why I say for a movie that does have a lot of sadness in it and a lot of heartbreak, because as the movie goes on, he starts coming to some realizations that you can't always fix everything. And some things are canon events where they have to happen, and you can't.
Sometimes there's no solution, like his mom said.
Yeah, and so, but then they mixed in a lot of good humor and all that. Like when a lot of people were like, they couldn't believe this scene, and I thought it was funny when he picks up Barry and Barry's doesn't have his powers. And he's moving him real quick to get him away from the guards, and he throws up. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was hilarious.
Kept coming. He just kept coming out.
Yeah, because now he's vulnerable, and it was funny.
But I will say though, I kind of feel like that was kind of a dumb point thinking about it now, because his body should be used to that movement. And, I know that you haven't had your powers for a couple of days, but I don't feel like it should have changed your muscle memory.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Maybe nobody moves that quick, so you can never tell anything. And how we saw in the X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, when they go see Quicksilver. Right. He has to hold the person's neck so they won't get whiplash. Yeah. So, that's kind of cool how, how, I don't know what just fell, but that's kind of cool how they, took that liberty to, do whatever.
Quicksilver.
That was funny. He was like moved his ear just to get that bullet out of the way, like real slow. Yeah. That was hilarious.
Well, that was the kind of in the first sequence where he is saving those babies that I thought was pretty interesting. Was he wasn't like running real quick to like pluck them out of the air and stuff. He was using time and physics and everything to just put them in the perfect place. But
And I will say, I thought like the baby in the microwave was probably not a good look.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Or anything.
But he was only in it for like half a second. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did think that was weird. Like, okay, like. But let me ask you this: Quicksilver's scene where he's saving everybody in slow motion, or Barry's scenes? I gotta say Quicksilver.
I don't know, man. I'm leaning more towards Quicksilver too.
I really enjoyed those scenes that we talked about, and then the one where they're teamed up, they both got their powers and they're fighting, and they've got their raconteurs playing, and it was just a fun scene. But I still love I think the Quicksilver scene still takes it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Quicksilver scenes.
Just seeing Jeffrey Dahmer running around saving all those people. No.
At least he's not eating them. So there's that. But he did eat a hot dog, which I heard that some hot dogs do have like human flesh in them.
Ew.
Yeah, there's certain ones that have them, and
why?
I can't remember which ones are safe. I don't know, dude. I do not know. So I'm like, I don't know if I can eat hot dogs anymore. Hot links, different story.
Oh, I can't eat. I ate hot links the other day, dude. I was up all night, and the next day with like my heartburn was ugh. Anyway, speaking of, like, it felt like I had got moved in super speed,
but it's coming out the other end.
Yeah. A couple of cameos that were cut out. Linda Carter as Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool to see her. Yeah, but I mean, we've seen her recently, right? Wasn't she
in the Wonder Woman movie? Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't she in Supergirl?
I can't remember.
I thought she was. Marlon Brando as Jor-El. I don't really. Nah. And then Cesar Romero as Joker, which they did do his laugh, I'm pretty sure, when they showed Adam West. Which that would have been cool to see him, but you really didn't see any Jokers. So I kind of got why we didn't see him.
Well, see, and I think that's another reason why Jor-El wasn't in there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for what? I would say, since we did see Wonder Woman, that should have been, Linda Carter. Linda Carter should have been in it. And I also think, even though they showed the back of Henry Cavill in the movie, I feel like they should have at least put him in there as well.
I feel like they did Cyborg dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the Justice League. Come on. No I mean, they mention him but he's not Cyborg yet in that universe. But when he goes in and he can see all the different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd have been funny though if it had just been the guy who played Cyborg. What's it? Ray?
Yeah, Ray.
Fisher?
I can't remember his last name. Fisher. Yep. Yep.
Okay. It'd been like him, and then it was like a cyborg from Teen Titan Go.
Boom.
Yeah. But because there's not too many. There's the cyborg. Was he on Doom Patrol, or was he on? Yeah, wasn't.
Yeah, Doom Patrol, and he made a cameo appearance on this last season of Titans.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm. He was in a full episode.
Oh, that's right. I think I saw that one. Yeah. But in that one, or I believe in Doom Patrol, he had been put back together or made whole or something. He didn't have his powers anymore.
Yeah, with like some synthetic type of like skin.
Yeah.
That was also kind of robotic, but not. He couldn't, shapeshift into a cannon or anything or have his arm shapeshift into a cannon or anything like that. But yeah, he's more human-like now.
Well, Cameo, we get to the end of the movie and the Flash realizes he has to undo what he did. But he makes a little change that basically he knew wouldn't have made much of a change until he got back and it was able to set his father free.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's coming out of the courthouse and Batman pulls up in his awesome, like, what kind of car was that? Because it's like
I don't know if it was a Mercedes.
Yeah, it was like a BMW or super high end one of those. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's excited because they have Ben Affleck's Batman and the Flash have like a kind of a bonding moment earlier in the film where, Batman kind of, when he's talking to him about why he shouldn't do what he's doing and how sometimes these things like, because I think he even said, I could save your parents too. And he's like, sometimes this is just the way it is. And that's, it makes us who we are. And,
right.
And, he's like, it also made me lonely. And so Barry's like, well, we could hang out. We could go eat. I'm hungry right now. And Batman's kind of like, maybe another time. And
I got to go hang out with J-Lo.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think he meant that. I think he meant, like I do got to go, but like maybe we could hang out sometime, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But so he's excited to see him again now that he's set his dad free based on the stuff that Ben Affleck got him earlier and Batfleck got him earlier in the movie.
Mm.
And he goes out to meet him and George Clooney gets out. And dude, I had already heard about that too, but like I had heard that wasn't going to happen. So I didn't know for sure that it was going to happen. When it did, I was like, oh yeah, that's funny. Did you know?
Was awesome, because he was like, who the F are you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then that was it. That was the movie. So my question to you, I've heard James Gunn said this is not happening, but James Gunn's also said, I think George Gunn. I also
George
heard
Clooney and James Gunn mix.
I swear James Gunn said to begin with that George Clooney was not in the movie. Because I believe Grace Randolph was the one out there saying all that, and I can't stand her most of the times, but I think she was the one saying George Clooney was going to be in the movie. James Gunn's like, no, that's not true. And then she was saying, and of course he has to, though. I mean, they wanted to keep that secret.
Yeah.
But she was basically leading it on to be that he's going to be, this is his introduction back in, he's going to be the brave and the bold Batman.
At the time of George Clooney's reign as Batman, it's not like I didn't like him as Batman when I was, at that age. I thought it was cool.
What do you think was cool? His bat nips?
Let me finish. I didn't like the outfits because, as you said, the nipples.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because in every other iteration of, Batman, you don't see his nipples. He's not like naked.
No. Well, that was Joel Schumacher. He was.
It was weird. It wasn't cool. So, with that aside,
Joel thought it was sexy.
I guess. So I don't see really anything wrong with the liberties of doing, how you see Batman. I think he was, so you said Joel Schumacher did those?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Joel Schumacher was kind of going back towards the Adam West because it was kind of campy.
Well,
and
yeah,
cheesy.
yeah. The first one without Tim Burton and without Michael Keaton was Val Kilmer,
right?
And yeah, they went
that wasn't campy or cheesy.
It was a little bit though. Remember, because it had the Riddler, it had Two-Face. It was a little, it was a little like
yeah.
Michael Keaton or Val Kilmer's version of Batman and Bruce Wayne wasn't campy and cheesy.
Right.
But then George Clooney comes in and he does one. It's Batman and Robin. Chris O'Donnell's already been introduced in the Val Kilmer movie. And this one has Poison Ivy with oh my
Bane.
God, Uma Thurman, yeah, Bane, and of course
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold. He plays the Iceman. What was Mr. Freeze?
Yeah,
and it was horrible. Like I turned it on last night because I just wanted to see George Clooney again. Like, why did everybody hate his performance? And it was just a horrible movie.
That's why.
Like in the first scene or the first sequence, Batman and Robin have ice skates just in their boots, just in case.
Because this is the first time they even fought an ice, Mr. or Dr. Yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Freeze. Yeah. I mean,
so it's just like, oh, just in case we ever fight anybody that has ice powers. Now, granted, we don't know, but to the viewer, it looks like this is the first introduction to this character. Oh, let's put some ice skates in our boots just in case, like you said, just in case.
Yeah, and of course Arnold's playing Mr. Freeze over the top. And then I felt like George Clooney, just in the little bit that I watched, because I turned it off. I was like, nah. But George Clooney just kind of had like a cool guy, kind of George Clooney cool guy approach to it that I was like, it almost works, but he just was a little too unaffected or whatever the word might be, where I think Bruce Wayne, like I love the intensity of Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. And Michael Keaton maybe not as intense, but he's pretty serious dude too. But I thought George just kind of cool guy-ed it a little too much.
Yeah.
But I thought with the right director and with now that George is a little more seasoned, and if it's a good enough story, and if it projects into Batman Beyond, I could live with George Clooney. Maybe. Yeah. I just don't think that he'll be the main Batman if that's the case. Because did you hear that they're talking to, amongst a few people, Nicholas Hoult to be Superman? Yeah, Superman.
I heard that.
You wouldn't like that?
Now, don't get me wrong. I like Nicholas Hoult as an actor. But Superman,
I could see it.
I don't see it.
I could see it. I could see it.
Like he doesn't have that chiseled look. Like it's not when I think of Superman, I think like that chiseled jaw, that face, that almost like I would say like a soldier, almost.
Right.
Nicholas Hoult, I could see him more as a Superboy than a Superman.
Well, they wanted a young Superman though.
I get that. And that's fine. But Nicholas Hoult, I wouldn't go there with him. Like he doesn't have like that. I don't know. If you could find somebody that has like a jawline like Henry Cavill, or Christopher Reeves, go for it.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult. Let me.
What about him as Batman?
Nicholas Hoult?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Neither.
Give me Robert Pattinson. If we're going to go young Batman, give me Robert Pattinson.
I almost wonder, though, if Nicholas Hoult would be like a Superman in a Robert Pattinson Batman universe. But I hope, and what I really hope, is for the Batman, because it's more like noir and detective style.
I mean, I don't know if you can see that. That's Nicholas Hoult.
It's a little washed out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're only going off of eyes, then sure, be Superman. Blue-eyed Superman. Okay, cool. But there's like no definition in his head. Like it's just, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all.
Right.
But he has an alien head. So it's like starts off big and then it comes down to a point.
Yeah.
So, no. And if they do end up going with him and he's perfect, then cool. But that isn't the Superman I want to see.
I think I've had a great record of saying whether or not somebody will or won't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nicholas Hoult might work as a Superman.
No.
Or a young Batman. But I don't want a young Batman. Like you said, we got Robert Pattinson. But I think in Brave and the Bold, I don't know, because that's more about Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that, they might be wanting an older, gentlemanly Batman. So it might actually be George Clooney.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. I think that movie is probably going to focus on Robin more than Batman. I don't know. I don't even know anything about Brave and the Bold, though, as much as I know about Batman. So,
yeah,
I don't know who they're going to get.
And I want to say this real quick, too. The fight scene when they go to Russia, right? Is it Russia?
Yeah.
To get Supergirl or Superwoman. And I know it wasn't Michael Keaton's Batman fight, like Michael Keaton fighting, but man,
it was dope.
That fight scene. Oh my God, dude. I hope they keep that fighting style. I don't know who the fight choreographer was in this and in Batman v Superman, but they need to keep that fight choreographer because that was, oh my gosh, dude. It was like watching a cartoon or playing the Arkham Knight games.
Yeah. Yeah. And I heard some people say like Michael Keaton never moved like that back in the day. It's like, who cares?
No, he didn't, because I don't think
he was also in a rubber suit that in real life barely moved.
There's a video going around talking about when my neck is injured or when my neck hurts, this is how I look, and it's all of 89 Batman doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they make fun of it too when in the Flash movie where the new Barry Allen is like trying to look and like, he can't move his neck.
Yeah. That was good. There was a lot of callbacks in that. Oh, like if you that's what I'm saying. If you're a Batman fan from 89, you're going to probably love this movie, I think. If you take away the Ezra Miller stuff and you don't care about the CGI as much, because I didn't. If you're me, you're going to love this movie. And I did. I really did love it.
I don't understand why people are so upset with the CGI.
I think it's just picking on whatever they can pick on.
I mean,
because they're already mad.
Because they did that with She-Hulk. They complained about the CGI there. It's like, you do know that this is fake, right? Like, why are you letting that take away from the enjoyment of watching the movie or the show?
Right.
And like what we brought up with CW's The Flash, that wasn't the best CGI ever.
No.
Ever. But it was enjoyable. It's fantasy. It's fiction. Like, just watch the show or the movie, and I mean, maybe 5-10 years from now, we'll have realistic CGI because AI will be taking over and, they'll fix everything. But the thing is like, come on, guys, this is what we're working with. This is what we have right now. I mean, remember what we used to play on PlayStation when we went from Sega to PlayStation, and it was like, oh my God, these graphics are cool. Yeah. And then you look back at it now and it's just like, they're like these boxy looking people. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have the boxy looking people. So enjoy what it is right now and stop complaining about stuff. Just say what it really is. You hate Ezra Miller. You don't like them, and just move on.
Yeah.
Stop saying, oh, CGI sucks.
Or you don't like James Gunn, or
just like my wife goes, or I said multiple times, like, I can't enjoy movies now because, when I try to figure out like what the movie's about, or if other people have seen it, what their reviews are, it's like they're trash talking it. And I don't know, like now I'm conflicted on if I should like the movie or not like the movie.
Right.
Because this person that I value their opinion says the movie sucks. But I enjoyed it when I watched it. So it's just like, you know, not everybody's a movie critic. Some of these YouTubers aren't actual movie critics. We're not movie critics. We know what we like and what we don't like.
I'm a movie critic.
Sorry. Well, I would say you're more a movie critic than I am. You've actually studied film. I haven't. So I'm not a real movie.
I studied
critic.
movie criticism to be in fact.
Oh, okay. So with me, take everything what I say with a grain of salt.
No, but you're a fan. Like
Right. You know, I like what I like.
Yeah. And
So-
to be honest, a lot of movie critics, they just hate everything. You know, we're fans of this stuff. Like I said, I judge things on, was it a good story? Can I watch this movie a couple of times? Which I know I can because I did, but I'm sure I want to go get the movie and watch it a few more times. Is the CGI the best? No, but you don't have to have everything. It'd be nice if you did, but if you still have good enough acting and a good enough story, the CGI shouldn't be the biggest thing in a movie.
And that's what I'm saying, man. It like just one part of like the story was good.
Yeah,
I'm glad,
I think so.
you know, they did take some of the Flashpoint paradox, I mean, not scenes, but
Right.
part of that stuff from the show or from the comic book / cartoon movie. And, you know, it's again, I know these movie critics have one time to either sell the movie or not sell the movie to readers or viewers. And that's how, like, I want to go into a movie not judging it by any means, and then go see it a second, third time and be like, okay, I'm going to nitpick now. I'm going to say, well, this is what I don't like. And that's what I did with this movie. I kind of went into an open mind. I didn't know if I was going to see a second time before the show. So I wanted to make sure that I got basically both of those things during the movie. But even then, it did not disappoint. It didn't disappoint me at all.
I thought the end scene, the very end scene, like after the movie, was pointless.
Oh, I do have a theory about that, but go ahead.
I thought it was kind of funny though when he was like, "This is my home."
Yeah, slaps the water. This is my home.
Yeah. Other than that, I was like, "Why? Why do I have to sit through all this for that?" But I think it's sad. I think that the studio didn't do this movie any favors. I think James Gunn saying that, you know, we're rebooting after this movie didn't do this movie any favors. I think, you know, the Snyder people didn't do this movie any favors, and they wouldn't, which is, to me, it's kind of a weird double-edged sword because Snyder already wasn't directing every movie in the Snyderverse. So they're mad that he's not directing any more movies, but now they're taking it out on anybody, but these are still the characters and the people he chose. So to kind of turn on them and say, now I won't go watch this movie. And again, the Ezra Miller thing, yeah, that it some of the things that I read about him are deeply kind of disturbing. I hope he gets help, you know?
Yeah.
But all the other people who worked on this movie and made it what it was, I'm not going to not see it, you know? So
yeah,
it's different than maybe going to see like a Roman Polanski movie or something or I might be feeling a little differently, but at this point I don't. So I really enjoyed it. I would say I know I keep saying I love it and I really enjoyed it. I would give it an 89.9. Like so close.
I'd give it an even 90. I'd give it even 90 for me.
Yeah. I want to give it an A, but there were a couple things that I kind of, you know, I could see a couple criticisms of it.
Yeah, same here.
But not much. Not if you're just going to have a good time. So
yeah.
That's where
it is a good movie.
Okay, you convinced me. 9 out of 10.
But yeah, real quick on my theory about Aquaman.
Okay.
So we all know that he met with James Gunn, and he came back on social media saying had a good meeting, and it looks basically he's still in the DCU. I'm not saying that he's going to be Aquaman from here on out, but when Ezra Miller, Barry Allen said, in every universe, you were the same person, or you were always there, or however he said it. I can't remember how he said it. I think that was more clarification that he was still going to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that also was like a subconscious thing too, to where Ezra Miller might always be the Flash as well, because he said, I saw you in those different, universes, as the same person. It didn't say, I looked different or anything like that. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's my theory on, at least Jason Momoa's continuation as Arthur Curry / Aquaman.
The only thing that I say might blow your theory up a little bit is he didn't even exist in that one. I mean, that might have been the only universe he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had to basically go back and redo that one, so that universe got wiped out. Mm-hmm. So maybe in every other one other than that one, he did exist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the only question I have.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What I also thought about that as well, but he didn't talk about at least that one from what they showed in that cutscene. So he might have explained that while they were at the bar getting drunk.
Right.
And every universe that I traveled to, you were there.
Right.
So.
Well, I think that they just put it in because they don't want people to not go to Aquaman 2, which I'm not going to go see anyway.
Dude, I think that might be the one I won't go see in theaters. Like, to be completely honest, I enjoyed the first movie of Aquaman. It was it was bad. I'm not going to say kind of.
I liked Manta,
bad, but
I
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Black Manta was good.
Other than that, though, I didn't ever go watch that movie again.
Yeah, I only saw it once in theaters, and then I watched it maybe once or twice. Because I buy the majority of all the superhero movies. Sometimes I put them on in the background, or sometimes I actually watch them. But yeah, and I will say the whole Amber Heard deal too. I don't know.
It's only because we hate women that we're not going to go see it, though. Because we went to go see the Ezra Miller movie.
I know, right?
But we're not going to go see the Amber Turd movie.
I will say
we're hypocrites. I'll just admit it too. We're hypocrites.
Mara is not even on the radar of any superhero type deal for me. It's like if she was playing Aquaman, then I'd be like, okay, I mean, I'll go see it because she's playing Aquaman. But since she's not the main character, it's like, but yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I think I'll watch it and give my review, but it probably won't be a good review. So there's that.
There's that. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for us today, Cameo. On the next show, we're going to talk about Secret Invasion. Did you watch it yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I checked it out earlier today, so we'll discuss.
How many episodes are out?
I don't know. I thought maybe. Well, I didn't check actually. I just watched the one episode though.
Oh, okay. Because I know sometimes they'll release like 2, maybe.
Yeah. I didn't check though. No, because I don't think because it tried to send me to like Captain Marvel next. So I think there's just the one. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, I'm out of here. Cameo.
All right. Keep it nerdy.
Smile and put on a happy face.
Wakanda forever!
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
That was awesome!
Freeze all motor functions.
Hated it.